up, YouTube? JankyYGO here. My name is Michael, and today we have, well, the remainders of the cards in Dawn of Majesty, and they're all on this one page. So, let's just get into it. First up, Master Model Diploman. Level 5 Dark Machine effect with 2000 attack, 2000 defense, so it's a Gizmek target. If this tribute card is tribute summon, you can target one monster in your graveyard and one monster or one face-up monster your opponent controls. Equip that monster from the graveyard to the opponent's monster. While equipped this way, it loses attack equal to the equipped monster's attack. Your opponent's monsters equipped with equipped spells cannot activate their effects. So, obviously, it's not the greatest card, but it is kind of cool, nonetheless. So, if you guys like what's basically a bad monarch, then absolutely play this, with your friends. This is a casual card. It's definitely not meant for competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! So, casual players, go nuts with this. Next up, Slower Swallow. Level 1 Wind-Winged Beast effect monster. You can only special summon Slower Swallow with its first effect once per turn, and it has 100 attack, 100 defense. There are 2 or more monsters at the same level on the field. You can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, you tribute this card, draw 2 instead of 1 during your next, for your normal draw during your next draw. So this is definitely good lyrical loose support. Good level 1 support in general. Definitely gonna be a mainstay in that deck because I built it with all the current pieces, with no OCG support, and it definitely can summon out 5 monsters pretty easily. The only issue is that after that it kind of falls a little bit short, which you're probably thinking, 5 monsters easily? It shouldn't fall short after that, but it does. Because of what the deck is trying to do, it does. And this helps you get a sixth monster. That deck can sometimes, I think at one time, I think the most I've ever summoned in a turn was close to 9. Or no, it wasn't 9. It was 7. I think it was 7. 6 or 7. It was a lot. I summoned basically my whole hand and then some in a turn, and this will help extend plays if you draw it. So yeah, great card overall. Next up, Exoskeletal Dragon Gaiarm. Level 6 Earth Synchro Dragon Synchro effect. 2000 attack, 1300 defense. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. Second, it's first, second, and third effect of this card's name are once per turn each. Its first effect. Tribute this card, then target 3 other synchro monsters in your graveyard. Return them to the extra deck. Second effect, you can target one of your monsters special summon from the extra deck. Equip this card from your graveyard to that target. Okay. And then if the equipped monster declares an attack, you draw a card. So it's kind of like a Armory Arm, but you use it to synchro summon past it, or summon this, then link summon into something else, get it in your graveyard, and then equipped it, and so that when you're going for attacks and stuff like that, you get a draw card. Competitive-wise, not very good. Janky-wise, it seems like a pretty fun card. Next up, Messenger Spirit of the Fatal Eye. Psychopompous. Level 2 Earth Zombie Tuner effect. 0 attack, 0 defense. If this card is special summoned, you can apply this effect based on which of the following your opponent has more in the graveyard. Monster, banish this card, and if you do, banish one monster in your opponent's graveyard, their choice. Blah. 2 spells or traps, send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, your opponent sends one monster they control to the graveyard, their choice. I would rather just summon this back as a tuner and then synchro summon with it. During the end phase, if this card is banished last turn, you can special summon this banished card. I guess you can keep banishing stuff. That's okay. I'm not a big fan of this card. Even casual-wise, I don't really like this card. I think I'd just rather play Plague Spreader or like Unizombie. Overall, I'm not a big fan. Next up, Margin Trade. So, it's a normal spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Your opponent can discard one card to negate this effect. Otherwise, both players look at their opponent's deck, and if they do, they choose one card from it, and they add the card chosen by their opponent to their hand. That's a fun and interesting card. I like this kind of. This card seems funny. Competitive wise, it's not going to do anything. Uh, now, fun wise, this will lead to a lot of really fun situations. So yeah, I think this card's pretty fun. I definitely don't expect it to see any meta play, and I think it's probably going to be bad most of the time. But it does look like a really fun and funny card. Next up, Assorted Monsters or Monster Assortment. Normal trap card. Reveal one normal monster and one effect monster with the same type, attribute, and level from your deck, and if you do, your opponent randomly picks one for you to add to your hand, and you shuffle the rest of them back into your deck. That's okay. There are cards, or there are decks that actually revolve around normal monsters. So, that's actually not too hard um, to really pull off. I think it's a little slow. So, competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, no. Most of these cards probably aren't going to be good in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! But I could see if you're playing a really like grindy game and you're playing with your friends, kitchen table Yu-Gi-Oh, as we like to call it, good old janky Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I could see this card possibly someone playing this. Seems like a card I would get like someone with if I was like messing around. Because I have off on a little tangent here. I'm the type of person that has like anime protagonist level of luck. Like I beat a Blue Eyes deck when all I did was grab 40 cards and run through the deck to make sure it was tournament legal. I grabbed 40 cards out of not even my binder. I had a tin at the time. I grabbed 40 cards out of it and beat the Blue Eyes player. So yeah, this is like a card that I could possibly see me winning with or using and just getting someone and be like, oh, I got a free card. It's not, but it isn't like a very good gotcha type of card. But yeah, next up, as the Master of Beast pleases. So it's a continuous trap card. Once returned at the start of the damage step, if your monster battles an opponent's monster in the same column, return all cards in your battling monsters column to the hand. That's pretty interesting. See, this seems like a potential like anti-meta card. Um, you could really mess up some good plays with this card, and it's a once per chain rather than a once per turn. Hard once per turn. Um, so yeah. So if you have multiple of these, if it just said at the start of damage step you could do that, this card would be actually really good. But the more I read it, the more I'm thinking it's this whole once per turn clause right here really holds the card back. Otherwise, it would be a fantastic way to like break opponents' boards. Next up, Paparazzi Disparazzi, level 2 Dark Fiend, and it's Link monster. It's a Link 2. I said level 2, I meant Link 2. It has 100 attack, and its links are left and right. And it requires 2 effect monsters. Its effect is when your other monster is targeted for an attack, you can change the attack target to this card and perform damage calculation. When this card is destroyed by battle with an opponent's monster, destroy that monster, and if you do, gain life points equal to half of the attack it had on the field. That's it. It's a funny card. I don't think it'll competitive wise, it's not going to see like any play. But the non-competitive wise, it could do some funny things. Next up, Stall Turn. It's a counter trap. When a spell or trap card or monster effect is activated that would negate the summon of a monster or the activation of a spell or trap card, banish the top 3 of your deck face, then negate the activation. If you do, shuffle that card into the deck. This card seems like it could be a sideboard card or a good anti-meta card, depending on what's happening. Depending on like this thing. Although there are better options, I still think that this isn't the worst card in the world to have. In general, if you're playing with your friends on like kitchen table Yu-Gi-Oh, this will definitely get them. If one of your friends has a heavy counter trap deck, but if not, this card is definitely not very good. It's fine. And then, one of the worst cards ever, Jar of Generosity. Place one card from your hand on the top or bottom of the deck. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. It's awful. It's a pot. Well, I guess it's a slightly better Pot of Generosity. But it's a callback to Pot of Generosity, and it's bad. So, that is it for this video. Overall, I think the margin trade and the slower swallow are the best cards out of this. You guys can tell me what you think in the comment section below. If it is your birthday today, happy birthday. If you want to send me any cool deck profiles or replays, my email's in the description. And of course, and as always, have a wonderful day.